to my WOW Chats, words of wisdom from people that I admire and respect and whose work is in line with making this world a better place. And that's you, Miss Erin Byron.
Thank you, Shelly.
Thank you for all your good work. You are a yoga therapist. Well, you're a beautiful human being, first and foremost, that does yoga therapy. You're a yoga therapist, and what else are you?
I'm a registered psychotherapist.
Psychotherapist.
Expressive Arts Therapist. Ooh, and author.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the one of my most favorite books is Yoga Therapy for the Creative Soul. Is that did I say the title right?
The publisher changed it to Yoga for the Creative Soul.
Oh, okay.
Which is fine.
So Yoga for the Creative Soul,
Yes.
and then your new book,
Yoga Therapy for Arthritis.
yeah, and I haven't read it yet, with Stephanie Munez.
Yes.
So okay, I want to ask you about creativity then.
Okay.
How do I become more creative? Okay, but let's just talk about this. So with writing.
Yes.
So, and this is for anyone like watching, so you don't have to be an author per se, but translating knowledge. So whether you want to write blogs or even just composing an email, we all kind of write at some point on some level, or maybe at work or something you have to write a letter. But like you have to compose it, and it takes some creativity and thought organization. And so do you have, I know there's you have a whole book on it, it's a really good book, but do you have for the people listening like a tip or maybe a couple tips on how to cultivate creativity?
Yes, absolutely. So, and it's right in line with our yoga practice, isn't it? That the whole premise of Yoga for the Creative Soul is that we're of creation, therefore we're creative in some way. And we define that differently. I mean, Einstein made a formula and said he found God, right? That there's so many different ways to tap into that aspect of ourselves, but I think the first place has to be trust. To trust ourselves. I loved what you just said about composing an email. How many of us have written an email and then read it 10 times and thought, this isn't the right wording, right? I'm not coming across properly here. And how easy it is for us to overthink things, especially if we are presenting ourselves to the world, which is such a vulnerable thing, right? But on the flip side of that, if we believe in ourselves, if we trust ourselves, whether we're perfect humans or imperfect humans, most of us the latter, right? And if we can accept ourselves in that vulnerable and imperfect place, and from there, just let the trust flow, just do the best with our words. And if we feel like in that email or even in that poem that it's a little clumsy, it's okay to say, I know this is kind of clumsy, or it's still a little bit rough and I need some help with it, or whatever it might be, to initially allow ourselves to be ourselves with whatever we're putting out there is one of the only things that allows creativity to flow.
Yeah, and I've experienced that, I get that. So how do you cultivate that? Do you know it? So going even deeper to that, so how do you actually help yourself, trust yourself more and be okay with being imperfect? Do you have tips on how to actually do that?
Yeah, so for me, it's the same as how I practice my meditation or my yoga poses or my nutrition, and that's to just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. And some days I can watch myself be victorious with it, and some days I see myself be completely bumbling and inept, and to just love myself through all of that, which then opens my capacity for compassion for others. So I'm not so hard on other people. If I can be easier on myself, then it's a lot easier to be easier on someone else than it is to be easy on ourselves. And from that practice, just repeating creative efforts in whether that's musically or through movement, or again, if you're a mathematician, dabble with the numbers and symbols and see what comes out, because it's only in the dabbling that we're ever going to find comfort.
So just keep doing, was what I'm hearing, is just keep doing it. Just sit down, just do it, and whatever it is. So it doesn't have to be writing,
that's
you said,
right.
Just anything. But yeah, that's important.
With the non-judgmental approach to how we're doing it.
Keep practicing and then self-compassion on top of that. I like that part too.
Yes.
And buy her book, it's really good.
Oh, thank you,
There's
Shelly.
so much in the book. As far as, do you want to tell them just some of the tips that you have in the book? Because you have some art, some different...
Yeah, there's expressive arts. Exactly. Or yoga poses to free your creativity, visualizations and breathing practices. Yeah. Even one of the ones that is my favorite right now in terms of activities, and there's an activity on almost every page, but the tools of the artist. Where I'm like, how about you just hold the tools?
Oh, cool.
How about you just don't even do anything with the paintbrush? Just look at the paintbrush.
Yeah.
Because when we get the tools in our hands, we're so much more compelled, aren't we, to just try something.
Yeah.
Just try something.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you. Words of wisdom, Erin Byron, Yoga for the Creative Soul, and Yoga for Arthritis with Stephanie Munez. I love you. Thank you so much. Mwah.
After I wrote some of those chapters, I just skimmed them. I didn't even. Because like, you can make yourself nuts, right? Either I'm going to skim it and trust that it's good enough, or I am going to go nuts picking the right adjective in every single sentence on this page, and I didn't want to go through that.
But see, that's how I write.
I can write 3 book chapters, and I promise you this is true. 3 book chapters in the time it takes me to write 1 blog post. I can write 6,000 words.
So
or
what's
more
your
in a
obstacle for the blog post?
book. What am I even talking about?
Can't you get your thoughts though and say, okay, I'm going to talk about
Boring.
these 3
I
points?
can, but then I'm like, it just.
So you want to just.
I want to write
go.
the book.
Okay.
Whatever this blog post is, I want to write a book about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks for watching this fun WOW chat with Erin Byron. Check out more of her work and all her resources and books at erinbyron.com, and check out some of my other WOW chats with more people that I admire and respect and whose work is in line with making the world a better place.